In the dazzling world of rock and roll legends, few names shine as brightly as Elvis Presley. Yet behind the glitter and the gold, a haunting truth emerges. Elvis was a man deeply, painfully alone. This is not the tale of the king of rock and roll, the man who danced on top of the world, but a deeply human story of a star who struggled to stay connected. Consider this: in his final days in a hotel room far from home, the man who could fill stadiums with his voice was consumed by fear of being forgotten. This was Elvis, a man who had once believed he'd be remembered forever, now gripped by the terror of obscurity. In a 1977 hotel suite in Binghamton, New York, he found solace in the company of Kathy Westmoreland, his soprano backing singer, simply because he couldn't bear the thought of sleeping alone. This image, the king of rock and roll, lonely and scared, cuts through the myth, revealing a man tormented by his own success. Elvis Presley, born in 1935 in the small town of Tupelo, Mississippi, grew up with dreams as big as the southern sky. His music, a mix of gospel, blues, and country, was a sound that would shake the world. But as he climbed to fame, something went terribly wrong. The pressures of being a superstar, coupled with personal struggles and addiction, chipped away at his happiness. He became a prisoner of his own fame, trapped in a life that was anything but lonely. The story of Elvis is not just about the music, it's about a man who tried to find himself amidst the chaos of stardom. It's a story of love, loss, and the relentless pursuit of happiness in a world that often seemed determined to crush him. Through his music, through his struggles, and through his ultimate isolation, we see a human being who longed for connection, for normalcy, and for a life beyond the spotlight. As we delve into Elvis's life, we'll explore the moments that shaped him, from his early days in Memphis to the height of his fame, and the tragic end that left the world mourning a lost icon. We'll meet the people who knew him, who loved him, and who struggled to understand him. And we'll uncover the truth behind the legend. Elvis was not just a star, he was a man searching for his place in the world, and in doing so, he touched millions of hearts. This is the story of a king who felt like he didn't belong on the throne, a man who, despite his incredible talent and success, couldn't shake the feeling that he was just a lonely boy from the South. It's a story that reminds us that even the brightest stars can feel the darkest shadows, and that sometimes the greatest legends are also the most human of all. Elvis Presley's life was a whirlwind of fame and adoration. By the mid-1950s, just a few short years after he stepped onto the music scene, he had shot to the top. It wasn't just his voice that captured people's hearts, it was his whole being. When Elvis walked into a room, everyone noticed. He had a way of making people laugh, and they would cheer even louder when he told a joke. If he asked for something, his fans and friends would rush to help him. This was true for everyone around him, from the small group of men who worked closely with him to his extended family who relied on him for jobs and a place to live. Even famous women were drawn to him, receiving gifts of cars and jewelry. Elvis could get anything he wanted. He bought houses, owned several fancy cars, and even had private planes and guns. Some people, like doctors, would even see him just to be near him. Celebrities from all walks of life wanted a piece of him. They would smile, shake his hand, and take pictures with him. He was like a magnet, pulling everyone toward him. But this wasn't just because of his charm, it was also because of his incredible talent and the unique story of how he rose to fame. In just 30 months, Elvis went from being an ordinary high school graduate to the #1 singer in the world. His music reached far and wide through TV, captivating people across the nation and beyond. Unlike most music stars whose popularity fades quickly, Elvis's impact was different. His voice, his style, and even his shy smile stayed with people long after they last saw him perform. Even 40 years after his death, he remains one of the most enduring American icons. Elvis's journey to stardom started with a dream. As a young man, he hoped that success would lift him and his family out of poverty. But fame, as he soon discovered, had its downsides. It could be as confining as it was liberating. He was the first rock superstar, and with that came a heavy burden. There was no one else like him, no one he could learn from or share his struggles with. He often said he felt lonely, trapped under the spotlight's glare. Despite his incredible success, Elvis struggled with feelings of isolation. To the outside world, he seemed to have it all: wealth, fame, adoring fans. But behind the scenes, he faced a different reality. He felt disconnected from the people who loved him, unsure of how to share his true self with them. His life was a mix of desires, duties, and pressures. His past dreams of a simpler life clashed with his current reality. As the years went by, Elvis's personal battles grew. He worried about losing his fans and the secrets they wouldn't understand if they knew the truth about him. He battled with his own desires and the constant need for money. His lavish spending habits, though sometimes reckless, were part of this struggle. He feared running out of money and returning to poverty, a thought that haunted him. Elvis's life was also marked by contradictions. Born into poverty in Mississippi, he became one of the richest men in the world. He sang music that was deeply rooted in the black community, yet he was a white performer. He was a rebellious rock and roll icon who also loved gospel music. He was a public figure known for his confidence, but privately struggled with nerves so intense they required medication. His personal life was just as complex. Elvis was close to his mother and, despite his tough image, deeply respectful of authority, even singing patriotic songs in his concerts. Yet he was also a man of many contradictions, a promiscuous lover who demanded fidelity from those around him. What drove Elvis's self-destructive tendencies? It wasn't just his ego or the pressures of fame. Some believe his addiction to prescription drugs started even before his time in the army, possibly fueled by his manager, known as the Colonel, who was rumored to be as ruthless as he was loyal. Elvis's addiction to drugs raises questions about his health and decisions in his final years. Why did he continue to tour and make TV specials when he was clearly struggling? Was it pure desperation, or was his manager pushing him to keep going for the money? The answers are complex and sad. The story of Elvis Presley is a tale of a man who achieved incredible things but also struggled deeply within. His life serves as a reminder that fame can be both a blessing and a curse, and that even the brightest stars face darkness. Elvis Presley, known as the King of Rock and Roll, was born into a world of simplicity and hardship. On a chilly January morning in 1935, in a small two-room shack in Tupelo, Mississippi, Elvis entered the world. The only light came from oil lamps and warmth from a log stove. His arrival was quickly followed by that of his twin brother, Jesse Garon, though Jesse would not survive. This early loss left a mark on Elvis, shaping his thoughts and feelings about life and identity. Tupelo in the 1930s was a poor town, home to around 6,000 people. The Presley family lived in a modest home without electricity or running water. Life was hard, but it was normal for the time. Elvis's parents, Vernon and Gladys, met at a Pentecostal church, reflecting the strong religious influence in their lives. Religion played a significant role in shaping their values and worldview. Gladys was the fourth of 9 children, and her early life was marked by tragedy. Her mother, Doll Smith, had been ill for a long time, and both her father, Bob Smith, and her mother died soon after Elvis was born. This early exposure to loss and hardship would later influence Elvis's perspective on family and responsibility. Vernon Presley, Elvis's father, came from a tough background. His father, Jesse D. Presley, was known for his temper and struggles, including occasional moonshining. Jesse's wife, Minnie Mee, Elvis's grandmother, was a strong figure in the family, though her relationship with Jesse was strained. Vernon married Gladys when they were both young, running away to make a new start. They borrowed money to build their first home, a simple structure without modern conveniences. Despite the challenges, Gladys found joy in their new life, envisioning a better future for her family. Elvis's early years were filled with hard work and resilience. From a young age, he helped his mother with chores, including picking cotton. These experiences instilled in him a sense of determination and the value of family. Gladys often shared stories of their humble beginnings, emphasizing the pride they took in their small home and the community around them. One memorable story from Elvis's childhood involves him riding with his mother on a Greyhound bus to visit his father at the Parchman State Penitentiary. Parchman was a work farm where Vernon was serving time for a check fraud involving his father. For a young boy, the journey was exciting, but the reality of his father's situation was a painful lesson in family dynamics and the consequences of poor choices. The family's story about Vernon's arrest for altering a check adds another layer to their narrative. According to this account, Vernon and his friends had taken a check from a local man, Orville Bean, and altered its value, leading to their arrest. This incident highlights the financial struggles and moral dilemmas the family faced, which would later influence Elvis's own decisions and the pressures he would endure. Religion was a constant presence in the Presley household. Gladys's faith and the church community provided a sense of stability and hope. The Pentecostal First Assembly of God Church was central to their lives, offering not just spiritual guidance but also a sense of belonging. This strong religious background influenced Elvis's worldview and his approach to fame and success. Music was another crucial element in Elvis's early life. The sounds of gospel and country filled their home, shaping his musical tastes and talents. His mother's stories of their Cherokee heritage added a layer of cultural identity, though it was more of a romanticized notion than a reality. Elvis would later use this heritage to craft a part of his public image, though he would come to realize the disconnect between his actual roots and the image he projected. Despite the hardships, Elvis's talent and determination set him on a path that would change the course of music history. His early experiences of hard work, family loss, and community support laid the foundation for his resilience and creativity. As he grew older, Elvis began to explore music more seriously, influenced by the sounds around him and his own unique style. When Elvis finally stepped into the spotlight, he brought with him the spirit of his upbringing, a mix of humility, determination, and a deep connection to his roots. His journey from a poor boy in Tupelo to a global superstar is a testament to the power of perseverance and the impact of early life experiences on shaping one's destiny. In the end, Elvis Presley's story is not just about becoming the king of rock and roll, but about overcoming adversity and finding strength in the simplest of beginnings. His life serves as a reminder that even the most extraordinary journeys often start in the most ordinary places.